Hello, most of you probably hear from my ASMR channel. Thank you for being here. Some of you are here for football, some of you like my voice in extended times. I'm here to talk football. I'm not here to do ASMR. I've done ASMR football content in the past. I'm gonna try and shift to doing just football and just ASMR separately. So this channel will be existing for that. I will be doing NFC predictions and AFC predictions. This one will be the NFC video. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for watching. If you are new here, and new to me, I should say, and unfamiliar with me, thank you for coming along. It's interesting that you found it this way, because this is gonna be a brand new channel. Yeah, brand new. So you're gonna do that thing, or since I'm a new channel, that you're gonna help me out, and you're gonna help me out by doing that thing that you're all supposed to do. You know, like I think it's like a subscriber, like a like, and one of those things. Do those things for me. Thanks. Now, without any further ado, I did not write them down this year because that was a lot to do. So what I did this year was I found a website that was able to let me track it basically and predict each week. So what I did was I predicted each game through each week. Week 1 did all the games, week 2 did all the games. Then later I looked at the results and I was like, that doesn't seem quite right. And like for certain ones, and I went back and looked at their schedules and I adjusted a little bit, but never too much. Never by more than I think 2 games. And there was 3 games for one, but they didn't make the playoffs or anything like that. So I don't think it really changed too much whenever I went back with a little bit of retrospect. But then again, the retrospect kind of helps. In this case, wild. This is a weird one. This is going to be a weird season, according to me. According to me, this is going to be a weird one. Going to be a very weird one. We're going to go ahead and start in the NFC though. To dictate it, we're going to go NFC East first. Yeah, we're going to go to the NFC East first. It's going to be the best division in the NFC. I'll tell you that right now. If you want the quick recap for the NFC East, the Cowboys will do 11-6, the Eagles will do 11-6, and the Giants will do 11-6, and the Washington Commanders will do 9-8, but a very competitive 9-8. Now let's go ahead and take a look at. Actually, I know what you're probably thinking right off the bat. Who won the division? Well, I have the Giants in third. This did all the tiebreakers for me. I didn't put in scores, I just put in the winner. It has the Cowboys winning the division because I had predicted them to win well in the division. They went 5-1, the Eagles went 4-2. I could easily see that swapping. I think the Eagles are more likely to win the division personally. Like, I think the Eagles are a better team. But I don't think that sorry, I got distracted. The Eagles are the better team, but the Cowboys have an easier schedule, and they kind of get a few games where they can rely on their pass rush to win the whole game. Kind of whatever. 11-6, 11-6, and 11-6. If I were to just like do a prediction based solely off of not looking at the schedule, I'd say the Eagles are probably going to go 13-4. The Cowboys go 11-6, then Giants 9-8, and the Commanders 9-8. That's what I would guess if I were to just like say it off rip, without looking at the schedule, without looking at the because you can either win or lose. You don't get to just win based on how good the team is. So which leads to a lot of luck. I'm explaining this to somebody. I'm mansplaining football to you now, huh? Nice. But in this scenario, what I did was I have the Commanders just missing the playoffs at the 8th seed with 9-8. So the Commanders will work our way up. For the scheduling for the Commanders, Week 1, winning against the Cardinals. Week 2, winning against the Broncos. Week 3, losing to the Bills. Week 4, losing to the Eagles. Week 5, winning against the Bears. They're 3-2 there. Losing to the Falcons 3-3, losing to the Giants 3-4, losing to the Eagles 3-5, losing to the Patriots, losing to the Seahawks, winning at home against the Giants, losing to the Cowboys at the Cowboys, winning at home against the Dolphins bye week, winning away against the Rams, winning away against the Jets. Yeah, I said that, but I do think the Jets are going to be good, so watch the AFC video as well. Winning at home against the 49ers. That doesn't make sense to me. Did I really put that? No, I'm gonna stick by it. I'm gonna stick by it. I think the Washington football team is going to be a hot and cold team, a team that is, if the defense on the other team is not great in the secondary, then they have a chance to light it up and go and do more than the other team's offense likely can. In this case, the 49ers, I think, will be kind of a limited offense against the secondary of the Commanders, because they should be good. They should be really good at the line of scrimmage as well, which you won't allow to run. I think the 49ers will struggle against the Commanders' really strong front and sneaky good secondary. And I think the Commanders will get enough opportunities to pass and win that game. For the San Fran, it's definitely better. I do think Washington's receivers and quarterback are better. San Fran's O-line is much better, though. But I think Washington would win that one. Washington losing to the Cowboys at home to finish the season, and they have a conference rating of 8th. They have a record of 9-8. They went 6-2 at home, 3-6 away, and missed the playoffs. Very frustrating season for Washington. Great, lovely to see, promise back in Washington. New ownership, new quarterback, both looking well. Not well enough to make the playoffs in this scenario now, which is a bit upsetting. Their O-line is a bit of a question mark. They could be phenomenal if they all play above expectations, which will not happen, so they'll probably be an average offensive line. If they can be that or a little bit above, then Sam Howell should be a little bit above average as well. And because the receiving core is phenomenal, so that should help him out a ton. The defense, linebacking core is kind of a question mark. Could be okay. The defensive line's great. Secondary should be really solid. So they have a team there. Not a perfect team, but no team in the NFC is perfect. Their strengths: D-line, secondary, receivers. D-line, receivers, secondary. That in that order. Running backs are okay. Alright, that was the Washington Commanders. Now we're going to discuss the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants. Alright, the New York Football Giants open the year with a loss to the Cowboys. They will win against the Cardinals on the road. They will win against the 49ers on the road. They will win at home against the Seahawks. They will win at home on the road against the they will win at Miami. They will win on the road at Miami. They will lose the Bills in Buffalo. They will win at home against the Commanders. They will win at home against the Jets. They will win on the road against the Raiders. They will lose at home. They'll lose on the road to the Cowboys. They'll lose on the road to the Commanders. They'll win at home against the Patriots. They will bye. They will win at home against the Packers. They will win on the road against the Saints. They'll lose at home to the Eagles. They will lose on the road in Philly to the Eagles. They will win at home to the Rams. They will lose to the Eagles at home. All right, now the Giants. I could easily see this team swapping with the Commanders. I could easily see a swap there happening in terms of record, in terms of how they do. I think the Commanders are a little bit more well-rounded. I think the Commanders are more suited to the modern NFL, but I think the Giants get a kind of easier schedule. And I don't know. I feel like the AFC parts of their schedule are a bit easier for some reason. I know that they played the same teams, but I mean, like in terms of away versus home, they're both similar to me. I think I've said like both, but I would expect like the Giants to do a little bit better, maybe than the Commanders. But okay, there's a lot of these games. Like all right, I'm gonna list you the games that I think are definite like Giants wins. On the road at Arizona. At home against the Packers. At home against the Rams. The rest of those are up in the air. They could lose all of those. They shouldn't. Like last year, what I did was when I was predicting the Giants, I was wrong. I wasn't like super wrong, but I thought they were gonna go like 2 wins. I think that's what I had. Look at my cat. I thought the Giants were gonna have like 2 wins. I really did. And then I was looking at the schedule and I was like, you know what though, if they do win like the games that like I think they have a chance to, they could go 7-10 or whatever it was. But I think it was like super unlikely. This year I think they have a chance to go. It was 11-6. Yeah, 11-6. I think they could even go like 13. No, like no, they can't. They can go 12. But I don't see them winning all of these games. I just ended up I did it on a week by week basis, and that's how it ended up happening. But it's probably not going to end up this way. The more I'm looking at it, I do think they will have a worse record than what this shows. But I'm not going to do that retroactively. But the Commanders have a chance to take that spot if the Giants kind of flounder. Moving on to the next team, actually let's talk about the Giants in terms of how they're built. Their O-line is pretty solid. It could be very good. Their D-line is very good. It's the strength of their team. Borderline incredible. Secondary should be good. Not great. Linebacking core is a question mark. On offense, the receiving core is a bunch of question marks, possibly the worst in the league, but like it's a bunch of like okay guys, like they're all slightly below average. Running backs, Saquon is great. Daniel Jones is streaky. He's streaky. I like him sometimes. That's for sure, but sometimes he's Eli Manning syndrome, I guess is what it is. I think they'll be a good team. Moving on to the Eagles. The Eagles, let's talk about their team first. Why not their O-line? Probably top 3 in the league. Maybe first. Then you got receiving core. Probably top 5 in the league. Running back room. There's like no number 1 there. It's a bunch of like 2 plus, I guess. Like they're gonna do like a running back committee thing. They got Kenneth Gainwell, they got DeAndre Swift, and they got what's his name? Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny. I like Rashad Penny the most out of all those guys. He gets injured a bunch though, so it's up in the air on that. But like they're all good. They're all good running backs. None of them are great, but they're all good running backs. Quarterback. I think Hurts wins MVP this year. I don't think he's going to necessarily deserve it. But I do think he's the new NFL media darling. I do think Patrick Mahomes is still the face of the NFL. Don't you worry. But I do think that he's going to be the media darling for the year. He's gonna win MVP or some sort of thing. It's gonna be very good. So it's gonna be well earned. Their defense isn't gonna be as good as people expect. So the offense is gonna have to do a little bit more than normal, which I think is what's gonna be why it's gonna be so good. I think. Well, so good in terms of media, Hurts wise. Defense, D-line, solid, incredible. Just straight up incredible. One of the strongest points of their team. Linebacking core, I think is bad. I think they're straight up going to be bad. Nico Dean's a question mark. He could be good, but then I can't really who the guy is. Miles Jack just retired. They signed him and then he retired 2 weeks later. So that doesn't look great, especially because he was also getting starting reps relatively. What second day was it? He was getting first team reps, which is not great for a guy you just signed. Secondary, they should be very good. At least the corner should be very good. The secondary, the safeties should be good, but the corners are where they have their talent. The D-line, so I think the D-line will help excuse me, carry that team. Excuse me. But it will not be enough to make the team perfect, or at least as dominating as they were last year. But it should help the rest of their defense not look as bad, or at least not look as not as dominant as before. So this will be very good. Like I said, I would expect them to be the number 1 seed, number 2 seed in the entire conference. If you were to just ask me how I expected them to do without looking at the record or their schedule. So in this case, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles winning on the road at the Patriots. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. We got the Eagles beating the Vikings. We got the Eagles beating the Bucks. Eagles beating the Commanders. Eagles beating the Rams. Eagles losing to the Jets. Eagles losing to the Dolphins. Eagles losing to the Commanders. Eagles beating the Cowboys, going on a bye, beating the Chiefs. It's going to be the Super Bowl. Beating the Bills, losing to the 49ers, losing to the Cowboys, losing to the Seahawks in Seattle. Beating the Giants, beating the Cardinals, and then beating the Giants again. Finishing out the year pretty strong. According to the simulator, they would be the 5 seed. But they would also have the same record, 11-6, as the Cowboys. And you're at 20 minutes in the video. I gotta speed up. So I'll go ahead and tell you, all of the teams that made the playoffs, except for one in the NFC, except for the 7 seed, are all 11-6. So the winners of the NFC North, the NFC South, the NFC West as well, are all 11-6. Last team is the Cowboys in the NFC East. Strength is pass rush and explosive offense. I don't think they're going to be a team that can really do meticulous moving super great, meticulously moving up the field, but they're definitely a team that can score points super quick. Their O-line should be good. The D-line's the dominant part. Their linebacking core is okay. It's the trend in the NFC East. Their secondary is good. Their corners are also. It's the same thing as the Eagles, except the Eagles have a better O-line and a better receiving group, and quarterback. So the Eagles are just better in a few different position groups. But the thing the Cowboys have over the Eagles is Michael Parsons. And he helps the pass rush a bunch more. So that's why it's up in the air. But also, That's how the Cowboys are gonna be. So I have them beating the Giants, losing to the Jets, beating the Cardinals, beating the Patriots, beating the Niners, losing to the Chargers, beating the Rams, losing to the Eagles, beating the Giants, beating the Panthers, beating the Commanders, losing to the Seahawks, beating the Eagles, losing to the Bills, beating the Dolphins, losing to the Lions, and beating the Commanders. That is your NFC East predictions. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the NFC. Actually, that should be good, right? No, let's just go on, right? You're here with me, huh? Moving on to the NFC North. That's what we're going to do next. Bears. Don't really care for them. O-line, questionable. Running backs, good. Above average. Quarterback, running back, same thing. If he learns how to throw the ball, and read defenses, he's going to be real good. But he needs to step up a lot from what I've seen. Receiving core, not as good as they want to pretend they are. Cole Kmet's great though. Defense, secondary, great, especially in the safeties. Corners are good. Question mark. Linebackers should be great. D-line, bad, possibly the worst in the league. And I think that's gonna make the linebackers suffer a lot more than they normally would. So it's going to minus them, and then minus the secondary if the whole thing sucks. Minus them without them. So I don't think they're going to be a good team. I have them going 5-12. Losing to the Packers, losing to the Bucks, losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Broncos, losing to the Commanders, beating the Vikings, beating the Raiders, losing to the Chargers, losing to the Saints, losing to the Panthers, losing to the Rams, losing to the Vikings, bye week, losing to the Lions, beating the Browns. I just think that's like a Justin Fields superstar game for some reason. Beating the Cardinals, losing to the Falcons, losing to the Packers. Again, NFC North full predictions. I'm sorry, but I should have done before. But NFC North full predictions are the Bears at the bottom at 5-12, the Vikings at 3 with 7-10, the Lions at 2 with 8-9, and the Packers at 1 with 11-6. Now we're gonna move on to the Vikings. I think they're gonna be a team that's almost good. I think they're going to beat the Buccaneers, lose to the Eagles, beat the Chargers, beat the Panthers, lose the Chiefs, lose to the Bears, lose the Niners, lose the Packers, lose the Falcons, beat the Saints, lose the Broncos, beat the Bears, beat the Raiders, lose the Bengals. I almost had them beating the Bengals though. Losing to the Lions, beating the Packers, and then losing to the Lions. They were a team that, won a lot of close games last year. And I don't think that they're going to suddenly lose all those close games the next year. I think they'll still win the majority of them. But I do think that they will not be in as many close games this year, as I don't think their team is very good on defense. I think they have a top receiving core in the league, Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the league. I think it's unanimous. Addison is going to be a great number 2 piece. Osborne will also be functional. Irv Smith, maybe, probably not. Is he even there? No, is he a Bengal? I'm trying to remember who the Vikings have at tight end right now. Hawkinson, duh. Their O-line is good. It seems like it could be very good. Running backs, mid. So the offense isn't perfectly firepower, but it should operate very, very efficiently. Because the pass game is what's mandatory in the for them. Kirk's good. I like Kirk. Moving on to defense, D-line, above average. Linebacking core is okay. like maybe a little bit above average in the NFC at least. And then you look at the safeties, like the safeties and corners, and it look pretty darn bad. Does not look promising. Does not look optimistic. Maybe there's like one guy in there, I can't remember his name, but there's not a whole lot going on there. You like, at least I like. So I think teams are going to be able to pass on them, which is going to not benefit them. Well, at least they can pass back, but only so much. Moving on to the Lions. Did I do the? Did I do the? I don't think. Hold on. I don't think I did. I don't think I told you the Vikings exact win predictions. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I sure did. All right, moving on to the Lions. The Lions were a team last year that caught fire at the end because they were just scoring crazy amount of points. And that's great, but why do I not expect that to flow into this year? That's hard to do. 2, their best speed threat is suspended for 6 games. 3, their defense was still atrocious during that span too, so I don't think they're automatically going to get better despite signing 2 starting cornerbacks and this middle and drafting of a linebacker. Because I think their defense is going to be dependent on teams having the lead, teams trying to catch up to them, because they're not very good at stopping the run at all. And I don't think they got much better outside of Jack. So here we go. Let's go with their predictions. I mean, their running back room is good. Their quarterback room is okay. Line, phenomenal. One of the top O lines. Receiving core is very good. Above average. Pretty darn good. Let's go with the pretty darn good. Defense, corners, good. Safeties, linebackers, good, question mark. D-line, good, question mark. So it's a lot of... even the corners could be considered a good question mark. So going into their actual season predictions, I have them losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Seahawks, losing to the Falcons, beating the Packers, beating the Panthers, losing to the Bucks, losing to the Ravens, losing to the Raiders, losing to the Chargers after a bye, losing to the Bears, losing to the Panthers, losing to the Saints, beating the Bears, losing to the Broncos, beating the Vikings, beating the Cowboys, and beating the Vikings. So I have them winning 4 of their last 5 games. This kind of sounds like last year. Teams continue to follow trends. Maybe I'm right on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit was a team that makes the playoffs, only because the NFC is going to be weird and weak. But but to show that the Washington Commanders, in this example, are 9-8, and they missed the playoffs. The Lions are 7-10; they missed the playoffs. But the Commanders were 1 game out of making the playoffs at 10-7, and the Lions were the 10 seed, and the Commanders are the 8. So, moving on to the NFC North winner, we have the Green Bay Packers. It wasn't too much of a... I was thinking the NFC North is just going to be a whole bunch of mid. I was thinking it's going to be like, who's the least mid out of all of it? Because then, I think the more time has gone on, I think the Packers are going to be that. Because I think their defense is already good. And I think if their defense plays above expectation, not above expectation, but like above last year's expectation, and still below this year's expectation, I think they'll still be good enough for the offense to get enough chances to function. Quarterback Justin Love is unproven. Jordan Love, sorry. I like him though, a little bit, not a lot, but I like him enough. Christian Watson is pretty good. Dobbs is pretty good, but like for different reasons. So the receiving core is young and good. The line is probably good. Their D-line is likely very good. Their linebacking core is good. Their safeties are very good, and the corners are very good. Our corners should be stellar, so they should be a very good team. I don't think they'll be a perfect team, but I think they'll be a very competent team for as young as they are. But I don't think they're going to be a long haul playoff team. But starting off the year, I also think they are definitely going to be floated, like buoyantized, pushed toward the top, pushed like up in terms of the record because of playing in the NFC North. Starting off the year, they're going to win at home win on the road against the Bears. They're going to lose to the Falcons. They're going to beat the Saints. They're going to lose to the Lions. They're going to beat the Raiders. Their bye week. They're going to beat the Broncos. They're going to beat the Vikings. Beat the Rams. Lose the Steelers. Beat the Chargers. Beat the Lions. Lose the Chiefs. Lose the Giants. Beat the Buccaneers. Beat the Panthers, lose to the Vikings, and beat the Bears, going a total of 11-6. That is your Green Bay Packers season prediction. Moving on to the NFC South. Now, in this simulation, the Falcons got the 1 seed, but you remember I told you that all the teams that made the playoffs or won their division or 11-6, all the teams that made the playoffs in the NFC outside of the 7 seed were 11-6. So it's anyone's guess at who is going to win the 1st seed. And what did I do? Did I break something? Oh God, I broke something. Okay, I fixed it. Okay, I fixed it. We're good. Moving on to the NFC South. I have the Atlanta Falcons winning the division at 11-6. I have the New Orleans Saints getting a second with 7-10. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 5-12, and the Carolina Panthers at 2-15. Starting with the Panthers at 2-15. O-line questionable. Running backs good. Quarterback first overall pick, but in my opinion questionable. Wide receiver room questionable. Let's go with good plus. Good question mark. Not great offensive look out there. Defense, D-line, solid, very solid. Linebackers, solid. Secondary, solid. Like safeties and corners are both very good. So defense is could be a team that's good, but I don't think the offense is going to generate enough. I don't think the defense is going to be consistently good at enough. I think they're gonna be a team that's going to have a bad year, and I think they're a team that's going to have a good draft and then be back to a very good, very very solid team next year. If Bryce Young develops. If not, then Bryce Young is going to be holding this team back, which I hope not, because I don't like the Panthers, but I don't dislike them either. I like to see teams with good uniforms do good. I have the Panthers losing to start the year against the Falcons, losing to the Saints, losing to the Seahawks, losing to the Vikings, losing to the Lions, losing to the Dolphins. That's 0-6. A bye week, losing to the Texans, losing to the Colts, losing to the Bears, losing to the Cowboys, losing to the Titans, losing to the Bucks, beating the Saints, losing to the Falcons, beating the... I almost had to beat the Falcons there, by the way. Really did. Beating the Packers. All right, losing to the Packers, beating the Jaguars, losing to the Bucks. If you hear moving of sand, Disregard. Moving on to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a team that is solid, but not great. Receivers, stellar. Oh, yeah, very good, very good. O-line, okay. O-line is okay, question mark. Their quarterback is bad, probably. Their D-line should be above average. Could be even very good. Their linebacking core is good, and their safeties are good. Safeties and corners are probably their best asset as a defense. The defense could be good as well. Excuse me. I'm dealing with my cat as well. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing to the Vikings, beating the Bears, losing to the Eagles, losing to the Saints, beating the Lions, beating the Falcons, beating the Bucks, losing to the Bills, losing to the Texans, losing to the Titans, losing to the Niners, losing to the Colts, beating the Panthers, losing to the Falcons, losing to the Pack, losing to the Jaguars, losing to the Saints, and beating the Lions. Jaguars. Whoa. Panthers. Big Cat. Losing to the Big Cat team. Here now be talking about the New Orleans Saints. Secondary, very good. Linebacking core should be good. D-line, above average, maybe, question mark. O-line, overall, okay. They have some pieces. They also have some bad. Receiving core should be very good. Quarterback should be above average. So they could be a good team, but I also don't like their defensive coordinator. And I just feel like that a lot of their team is going to kind of just not mesh well this first bit. But I do think they are a little bit better than a 7-10 record. I could see them going 8-9. I could see them going 9-8. Yeah. I have their schedule going: losing to the Titans, beating the Panthers, losing to the Packers, beating the Bucks, losing to the Patriots, losing to the Texans, losing to the Jags, losing to the Colts, beating the Bears, losing to the Vikings, losing to the Falcons, beating the Lions, losing to the Panthers, losing to the Giants, beating the Rams, beating the Bucks, beating the Falcons. So that's 3 games to win at the end of the year. And now moving on to the last team in the NFC North, NFC South. That is my team. Actually, hold on. Hello, I've returned. Moving on to the Falcons. I think the running back room is the best in the NFL. I think the receiving room is underrated. Should be above average. I think the O-line should be very good. Got him. I think the O-line should be very good. I think the quarterback should be above expectations. I like Ritter. I think he'll be above average even. Maybe even just average is fine because it's his first year starting. Who else? The defensive side of the ball. I think the linebackers will be above average. I think the D line will be should be good. I think the secondary will be very good. I expect a little bit of struggle with this team, which is why the record isn't better. Because what's a Falcon season without a good bit of struggle, right, bud? You're experiencing it right now, aren't you? Aren't you? You're purring, but you want to get down. You can't make up your mind. There you go. I have the Falcons. Oh, sorry, the D-line should be good. Linebackers should be above average. So I already did that. You got attracted by my cat. I have them opening the year with a win against the Panthers. I have them beating the Packers. I have them beating the Lions, beating the Jaguars, losing to the Texans, beating the Commanders, losing to the Bucks, losing to the Titans, beating the Vikings, beating the Cardinals, bye week, beating the Saints, losing to the Jets, beating the Bucks, beating the Panthers, losing to the Colts, beating the Bears, and losing to the Saints. Excuse me, just 1 second. I have one last team, one last division, and I'm going to go super quick. Cardinals, bad. Secondary, not good. Buda Baker's the only good thing there. Linebackers, questionable. Actually, that's probably the best part of the whole defense. And then, the linebackers are good, and then the line's bad. And then you got on offense, receivers could be good. O-line is atrocious. Quarterback is bad because of the injuries. Excuse me, my cat is trying to communicate with you. He wants to be a star. He wants to go into the other room, but sorry, bud. You chose to be in here while I'm recording. This is your own demise. Yeah, I have them going 2-15, and I could see them doing worse. I have the Rams going 2-15. I could see them doing worse. They have Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Ben Skoranek, Matt Stafford probably. I'm trying to think of anything else. Anything else worthwhile that's on the team? Everything else is like under UDFA or draft pick from this year, or a guy signed to a very, very low contract. I got a prove-it deal kind of contract. So I don't think they're going to be good. No, I think they are going to be very bad, but I think it's going to be an okay decision for them because they might look into Caleb Williams depending on if they lose enough. The next team is the San Francisco 49ers. D-line, stellar. Secondary, not as much this year. Should still be good, question mark. Linebacking core, stellar. Offensive line, very good. Running back, stellar. Receivers, very good. Quarterback, I don't like it. Quarterback, overall opinion, good, I guess. I don't like Purdy that much, as a long-term guy. I think operates fine, but I don't think he's he gets easy. I don't think he deserves the praise he gets. I think he is one of the lesser parts of that 49ers team. Moving on to the last team is the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers going 10-7, by the way. And the Seattle Seahawks going 11-6, and their strengths are going to be their passing game. They are probably going to be one of the top offenses in the whole league. Probably one of the top pass. It's way up there. One of the top offenses in the whole top passing game in the whole league, possibly within the last 5 years. O-line should be good enough. Running back should be above average. Receivers are probably the best in the league in terms of 1, 2, 3. I could be average in Cincinnati, but it's also real tough there. defense, secondary should be real good, potentially stellar. The linebackers should be okay, and the D-line should be above average. Should be. So there's some bits there. They're not great, but I think their passing game will take their team farther than they necessarily should be. And I think the same thing goes for a team like Jacksonville. I'd like to compare them to that. Yeah, that should be it. That's the NFC West, 11-6. Like I said earlier, I have the entirety of the NFC winning teams at 11-6, and then I have all but one of the NFC wildcard teams at 11-6, and the one that is not is the 49ers, who are 10-7. And let's recap the NFC for you. Starting at the bottom is the Carolina Panthers with a record of 2-15. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals at 2-15. The Los Angeles Rams at 2-15. Then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 5-12. The Chicago Bears at 6-11. The Minnesota Vikings at 7-10. The Detroit Lions at 7-10. The New Orleans Saints at 7-10. The Washington Commanders at 9-8. And then starting in the playoffs, we have the San Francisco 49ers at 10-7. The New York Giants at 11-6. The Philadelphia Eagles at 11-6. The Green Bay Packers at 11-6. The Dallas Cowboys at 11-6. The Atlanta Falcons at 11-6. And the Seattle Seahawks at 11-6. That is your NFC predictions, folks. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part and present. I know this is a bit different for me. No ASMR. I hope you still enjoyed. Hope if you came here from the ASMR, I hope you still found this relaxing and nice and knowledgeable. There will be an AFC one of this available not tomorrow, available soon. Before the season starts for sure. Also, if you're still watching this, I'm gonna put an announcement. But if you are interested in doing a fantasy football league, like a Patreon tab, you know what I mean? Like paying a certain amount for the Patreon subscription for it. Like, I'd be interested, but I have to know there's an audience for it, because it would take a little bit of work, and I want to know if it'd be worthwhile, because I want some more engagement, if possible. Thank you for watching. If you are not familiar with my ASMR channel, go watch it. Phantasm ASMR. I'm pretty good at it, I think. Thank you for watching. I hope you are having a great football season. Yeah, football is just around the corner. Happy football.